guys, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my video, please press the like button and please do subscribe. Alexa, what's the time please?
It's 8:32 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Monday the 24th of October.
And Alexa, the weather?
In Rochester, it's 12 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun. Today, you can expect clouds with a chance of showers, with a high of 16 degrees and a low of 11 degrees.
So most days of the week are the same for me, as I've been writing in my diary for ages. The same things have been going on and they've transferred over to here. So what was happening at Lansdowne Court is now happening here. And this place is more larger, it's more isolated, it's like a prison, it's built like Fort Knox. I hardly talk or see anybody, right? Lansdowne Court, I spoke to Gail opposite me. Gareth was outside. I saw it was a smaller block of flats, so you've got to know more people. This place is built like a prison. When I first moved in, they gave me a set of keys on a big circle that looked like a set of jailer's keys. So it is built like a prison. In Lansdowne Court, you had a postman that came up the stairs, put your post through a letterbox. I go downstairs, it is like a prison. The post is in a metal box with a key. You hardly see anyone. Well, I don't anyway. So guys, so I got up this morning around 8 o'clock-ish. Not too bad last night, you know. It's not been too bad noise-wise. So with what I'm going through, I don't get much sleep now anyway. I get hot flushes, I feel sweaty at night time. Although it hasn't really been that cold at the moment for October, and Halloween is next Monday. And I'm looking forward to that. Halloween, I've always loved Halloween since I was a child. Right? So, still ignoring a big nuisance, and I mean, they are a big nuisance, ignoring them. Carrying on with my day, because someone that wants to make noise, as in constant coughing, drawing attention to themselves, clogging across the ceiling, is an attention seeker. Don't know them, never spoke to them, not interested. I've got my own life to live, but they keep making themselves known but by being stupid, like a child does. When a child's not getting attention, what does it do? It starts being naughty. It starts throwing things, shouting, screaming, pulling its parent about and being silly because it wants attention. So what we're dealing with, an adult that's acting like a child basically, wanting attention by making silly noises and being loud. And the more that they do it, the more I ignore them. Right guys, so I've got up, fed my two cats, Nicky and Snowball too. I read a piece of my diary last night from 2019 and the same things were going on, you know. My son came to visit me, he used my toilet, he left, you know. My son came up, he wanted a packet of nuts. That's what was in it last night. He came up to my flat and asked me if I had a packet of nuts, would you believe, in 2019. And then he left. So it's been going on for years, me by myself, my son coming to visit me and you know, going up to my mum and dad's. Now my dad has passed away, he's dead, and you know, the Queen's gone, she was in my diary, and it's quite upsetting because I've now lost a parent, my dad's dead, I'm still single with no company, and I'm going up to see my mum. and my son sometimes comes round, not as often as he usually does, and that's it. Except we've got a pest in the equation now, somebody that keeps, I don't know what they're doing it for. Because if you want, as I said many times, if you think someone is, in quotes, ugly and horrible, why are you making so much noise? You would keep quiet. You wouldn't want someone like that to go and talk to you, would you? You'd keep quiet. Fortunately for me, saying that, the past couple of weeks have been quiet. And when it has got a bit, I've just ignored it and got on with what I'm doing. So I've got up, I've managed to get up. You know, it's that time of year where people do feel depressed. They do feel like they don't want to get up in the morning. It's cold, it's dark, it's damp. So that's understandable. Now I'm going to blow up a little balloon while I put the radio on. Alexa, can you put LBC radio on? Alexa, LBC radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Leaders past and possibly leaders present, certainly senior members of the cabinet. Is it achievable? More on that in a moment. 8:38 the time. So a little under half an hour before Sir Keir Starmer takes and of course answers some questions here on LBC. But what about the idea of a Prime Minister, Sunak? How might the city react? Markets commentator from Access Exchange, David Duke, joins me now. What would the reaction be, please, David? You imagine. Good morning.
Good morning to you. I hope I can enjoy my lunch and digest it by having a proper result instead of a charade. Stop that one off.
The proper result is a done deal, isn't it? You don't want it out.
No.
With great respect, you don't want it going to party members.
Absolutely not. No, we've been down that route.
Yeah.
All I can say initially is the reception by the city, which has only, as you know, been open for about 40 minutes, has been very positive. The bond yields have dropped quite sharply, just to give people an idea. And this is very important. It's much more important than the value of the pound, which is at 113.50, because it actually, against the euro, has done pretty well in the course of the last 6 months. And when the dollar is so very strong, it's always the euro and the pound comes under pressure. The 2-year gilt yield is down from 3.70% to 3.50%. That's a measurable cut. 7 years down from 4.18 to 3.93%, and the 10-year down from 405 to 382. So that is the good news, Nick. But everybody needs to understand, if they think it's sunshine over the rainbow, whoever is in power during the course of the next 2 years, dream on. We've got some serious problems, and we need stability, confidence, and orderly markets to be able to get through it. I mean, listening to Mervyn King over the weekend, gosh, he really made me shake in my boots, saying austerity will be worse than it was in 2008-9 during the banking crisis. He was immensely critical of the central banks for having been far too slow, all of them, out of the traps to get rates up to be able to knock inflation on the head. And he's equally critical that people have not, and people I mean other central banks, got rid of quantitative easing slowly during the course of the last 10 years. So the outlook for everybody is not particularly bright. But there are signs that there will be an acceptance of the Sunak administration, and a very positive one, because we have to get confidence back. People are not investing in this country, and this is the kind of data that we need to see improving to get people to focus back into the UK, where there are still fantastic opportunities to invest. Just to let you know, the FTSE is down 22 points at 6,946. That's after an amazing rally in New York on Friday, when all three markets bounced by nearly 2.4%, which in a day is a hell of a lot.
Thanks for that. We'll talk around the same time tomorrow. David Buick is with Aquis Exchange. The time is 8:41. A lot of calls coming in. Can Mr. Sunak, as it would appear, it's odds on it would be. Well, I was going to say the most extraordinary turn of events if it were not to happen, but that really is politics on a daily basis at the moment, extraordinary turn of events. So we shall see, and we'll return to your calls on that in a moment. But you may recall when I was speaking with the Home Secretary, about 15 minutes or so ago, I mentioned a story that's appeared in one of the newspapers today, The Times, and this is the idea that councils that closed rat runs now have more cars on their roads than those that did not. There's a whole slew of figures that have been put forward by the Department of Transport. Essentially, though, if you live in an LTN, there are actually more cars on the roads, and therefore your air quality has decreased, whereas those who didn't put them in are doing better. I asked Mr. Shapps, the Home Secretary, of course, reminding him that he'd been Department Secretary for a long time. Did they need now to review these LTNs?
Well, I said all along with these that it's horses for courses. You've got to put them in a way which A, carries the local population, and B, doesn't, for example, create problems for emergency services and the other things that actually I'm, as Home Secretary, concerned about as well. And so it was never a prescription that they go in everywhere under all circumstances. It was always meant to be done with local consultation. Now, where they've worked, I should say, you get some very positive feedback. So a lot of who doesn't want to live if you're in the street with calmer traffic? Perhaps you've got kids, maybe they walk to school, and of course it's a great pleasure. However, I've never believed in this sort of wholesale implementation in a sort of zealot kind of fashion. And of course, what we were dealing with during coronavirus itself, when the space was required, because you couldn't have crowded areas, is very different to today, when, thank goodness, because of the vaccine, we've managed to get life back to normal. So, horses for courses is what I'd say there.
Let's bring into the conversation Paul Lomax, who is an anti-LTN campaign. Indeed, he's quoted in the article in the newspaper today, and he joins me now. As a result of this research, which are official governmental figures, what do you believe should happen next, Mr. Lomax? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I think Crenshaws is right there about the not doing the zealotry approach. There are points you mentioned in the article where.
Right, guys. I hope everyone has a lovely Monday. The sun is trying to come out. It's hard in this weather to keep your chin up, so to speak. And I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. See you later.